quickly to have this Skype session with her. So let's just test if this thing works. Right. What about, you know, some other greetings to Korean people or?
Our topic will be today based on the music video. Happiness, yeah! So, can I just check how happy you guys are from 0 to 10 using your finger? So 10 being super happy and 0 being like not so happy. So how happy are we?
Hey!
Yeah, okay. 8, we've got some 10s. Great. So, before we begin, I would like to promise you something, that I will change your life, number 1.
That's a good one.
Number 2, by the time you leave this workshop at 11:30 for lunch, you will be happier. Okay, so those 2 things. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for moving around for each other. That's so nice. All right, guys. So one really life-changing thing and happy thing that happened to me last year was I got married. Yeah. Super exciting. And we have a little wedding video that we created. And I would love to share that with you guys. Would you guys like to watch it? Yeah! So enthusiastic. When I think of my husband and my life partner now, this one word that comes to my mind is positive. That is the one thing that separates him from the rest of the world, I think. And that brings me to my second story. So I'm so fortunate to have a positive person in my personal life. But you're probably wondering, how did a crazy Asian girl end up in Finland at Laurea? How is she here right now? How is it that we are having this in-person workshop? Well, that brings me to my second story to do with positivity. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to meet Ilka, who is the positivity in my professional life. But this story begins in Tanzania. So I'm going to study abroad. So he ended up at Yonsei where I teach. We kind of kept in touch over email. We would send each other 1980s YouTube music videos. And then he one day was like, hey Kyla, we have this cross-cultural business conference at my university and I recommended you to come speak. And I was like, oh my God, I know nothing about cross-cultural business. I'm an English teacher, like what do I know? But I thought, hey, I should challenge myself and just go. Push through the fear, push through any kind of anxiety, and just do it. So I went to Austria, and while in Austria, I met some really key people. I met a woman named Talia, and another woman named Kati, who's actually sitting right here. And Talia invited me to Laurea last year to speak to her class. So I decided to come. Hey, never been to Finland, never been so north, so why not? So while in Finland at Laurea, I met crazy Ilkka. And he was like, hey, let's collaborate. And I always say, let's collaborate to people I meet, and they're like, yeah. And then nothing ever happened. Also, while at this university in Austria, I met another man named Carlos, who happened to be the dean of a university in Mexico, and he invited me to speak in Mexico. So I went, and that was when the Happiness Workshop was born. I created the Happiness Workshop for that university, and it has since gone all over the world and is now here in Finland with you guys.
Hey.
So awesome! So I've been talking way too much, more than 15 minutes, which I really don't like to do. So, but the point is really to have as many positive people around you as possible. You guys are... Why is this so important? Some of you have seen the TED Talk, some of you haven't, but those of you who have, I think you have made some amazing comments. Today we're going to go dig a little bit further into this. Click. So many of you know about the different types of learning. So audio, what we can hear, visual, what we can see, and kinesthetic, what we can do with our bodies. Click. There's a connection in terms of what we retain, what we remember when we have these different learning styles. Okay? So with audio, it's only at 5%. So if you're just listening to the radio, for example, which probably nobody does anymore, unless it's online, there's a 5% retention rate in your memory. When you add the visual component, it goes up to 10%. But amazingly, when you're actually doing something, it goes up as high as 75%. Click. So last year, out of the University of Washington, there's a couple professors that got together and they did some research. They looked at 225 undergraduate programs. Click. And what they found was that students who were lectured at, okay, so the one-way lecture style, were actually likely to perform 1.5 times worse on their tests and in their performances in general. Okay, so I'm like a liberal arts person. What does 1.5 even look like? Click. In terms of a grade. Okay, so that's the difference between a B+, click, and an A-. Everybody wants to get an A! Who doesn't want to get an A? I'd like you, please, to throw the ball at the audience. Oh, okay. Okay, great. And then please throw the ball at the audience too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great. And then Melissa, if you could throw the ball with the audience. With. Great. Okay. And he's gonna remember it. Then he's gonna run back to, let's say Sini is his messenger. He's gonna tell his messenger Sini. And then Sini is gonna tell her artist. Okay? And then her artist is gonna draw it. And then after she draws it, she's gonna give it back to the runner, Yuka. And then he's gonna run it back. And then is it the